15 years. That's how long it's been since the Xbox 360 was the pinnacle of technology. In that time, I went from a college student worrying about deadlines to a dad worrying about diaper prices. In the industry, it went from linear corridors to open worlds to live services and back again. I was watching Charlie, or Moist Critical, try to debate the single best year in gaming history. And while that's a fun argument, I think it misses the journey. You can't understand why Elden Ring broke the internet in 2022 unless you understand what Skyrim did in 2011. So buckle up, grab a drink, we are doing a deep dive. We are going year by year from 2010 to 2025. I'm going to break down the culture, the runner-ups that broke our hearts, and the one singular game that claimed the throne each year. This is the history of modern gaming. Let's rewind to 2010. The PS3 had finally figured out how to run games properly. The context, this was a heavyweight fight. On one corner, you had Mass Effect 2, arguably BioWare's peak. It was the first time choices felt like they had life or death consequences for characters you actually loved. Losing Garrus felt like losing a real friend. The contenders, Halo Reach, Bungie's swan song. It was gritty, dark, and the multiplayer was flawless. Super Mario Galaxy 2, Nintendo just flexing. The winner, Red Dead Redemption. Why? Because Rockstar did the impossible. They made a Western cool in the 21st century. But more than that, from a writing perspective, this was the moment games grew up. The ending, we didn't get a mission accomplished banner. We got betrayal. We got the death of the outlaw era. It wasn't just fun, it was tragic. 2011 was stacked. The contenders, Portal 2, Valve proved they could do comedy better than Hollywood. Batman Arkham City perfected superhero combat. But the winner, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, of course. Look, I know the combat is floaty, I know the voice acting is the same 5 guys, but Skyrim broke into the mainstream culture like nothing else. Arrow in the knee wasn't just a meme, it was on the news. From a marketing standpoint, Bethesda sold us infinite freedom, and for the first time it didn't feel like a lie. We are still playing this game in 2025. That is staying power. 2012 was weird. It was the rise of the indies. The contenders, Telltale's The Walking Dead. If you didn't cry at the end of season 1, you are a robot. It proved you don't need graphics to break hearts. Dishonored gave us immersive sim perfection. But the winner was Far Cry 3. And this is controversial. Walking Dead won the awards, but Far Cry 3 changed the industry for better or worse. It created the Ubisoft formula. Towers, outposts, crafting wallets out of shark skin, but mostly it gave us Voss. It showed that a villain could be the face of the marketing campaign. Every FPS villain since 2012 has been trying to be Voss. 2013, the PS4 and Xbox One were launching. The contenders were Grand Theft Auto 5, the fastest selling entertainment product in history. It made $1 billion in 3 days. Culturally, it's a juggernaut. So the winner though is The Last of Us. GTA made the money. The Last of Us made the history. Naughty Dog took the zombie trope, which was totally played out by 2013, and made it about a father and daughter. As a dad, that opening sequence hits different now. It was the moment gaming journalism stopped asking, are games art? And started asking, is this better than movies? 2014, oof. We call this the sophomore slump of the console generation. The context, Destiny launched and it was a mess. Assassin's Creed Unity launched with missing faces. It was a rough year for QA testers. But the winner, Dragon Age Inquisition. It won Game of the Year almost by default, but that's unfair. It was a massive, ambitious RPG. It had the war table, allowing you to feel like a general. It wasn't perfect, but in a year of broken launches, BioWare delivered a 100-hour epic that actually worked. In 2015, the new standard. 2015 is often cited as one of the best years ever. The contenders, Bloodborne, the Lovecraftian nightmare that many argue is FromSoft's best work. Metal Gear Solid 5, the gameplay was perfect, even if the story wasn't finished. But the winner was The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This game ruined other RPGs for me. You'd play a side quest about a missing frying pan, and somehow it had better writing than the main plot of Fallout 4. CD Projekt Red became the darlings of the industry here. They respected the player's time and intelligence. 2016, the rise of the hero shooter. Overwatch took over the world. It introduced loot boxes to the masses in a way that felt fun initially, before it became, well, you know. And Doom proved you could reboot a classic by just adding heavy metal. But the winner was Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. I have to give it to Nathan Drake. Ending a franchise is hard, ending it perfectly, impossible. But they did it. It was a technical marvel. The transition from cutscene to gameplay was seamless. It was the summer blockbuster we got to play. And 2017 changed everything. The context is that the Switch launched. Everyone thought Nintendo was doomed after the Wii U. Meanwhile, PUBG launched and created the Battle Royale craze. Horizon Zero Dawn proved Guerrilla could do more than Killzone. But the winner was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I cannot overstate this. This game broke the rules. Ubisoft taught us that open worlds needed map markers. Zelda said, look at that mountain, go there. It trusted the player. It brought back the feeling of being a kid exploring the woods in your backyard. 2018, the heavyweight title fight. The contenders, Red Dead Redemption 2, a technological masterpiece. Horse testicle physics, do I need to say more? Spider-Man, PS4. Finally, a game that made swinging feel right. But the winner was God of War. Why did Kratos beat Arthur Morgan? Pacing. God of War was a tight, directed experience with no camera cuts. It took a character who was a caricature of rage and gave him depth. The phrase, do not be sorry, be better, is genuine life advice I use. 2019 was experimental. The contenders, Death Stranding, the first Strand game, being a delivery man in the apocalypse. It was divisive but unique. Control showed us what ray tracing could actually do. But the winner was Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. FromSoft stripped away the multiplayer. They stripped away the RPG stats. They gave you a sword and said, learn to parry. It was punishing, it was rhythm, and conquering it felt better than any other game that year. In 2020, the world stopped. Animal Crossing: New Horizons arguably saved people's mental health. The Last of Us Part 2 launched and split the fanbase right down the middle. Narratively brave, but emotionally exhausting. The winner, Hades, an indie game, a roguelike. Winning the year, yes, because it fixed the genre. Usually dying in a roguelike sucks. In Hades, dying was the point. It progressed the story. The art, the music, the thirst trap gods. It was the perfect game for a year where we all felt stuck in a loop. 2021 felt the supply chain issues. Delays everywhere. We had Resident Evil Village. Lady Dimitrescu took over the marketing. Halo Infinite had a great launch, but fumbled the live service. So the winner here was It Takes Two, Josef Fares. The man screams F the Oscars and then makes a game about a divorcing couple turning into dolls. It was endlessly creative. Every level had a new mechanic. It reminded us that video games are supposed to be fun with friends. In 2022, we had God of War Ragnarok. Incredible game, but it felt like part 2 of the 2018 game. Safe, polished, beautiful. The winner, Elden Ring. FromSoft took the Breath of the Wild formula and made it dark, dangerous, and obscure. It sold 20 million copies. It proved that players don't need hand-holding, they crave mystery. The cultural impact of Let Me Solo Her alone wins this year. 2023 was insane. We had Tears of the Kingdom, physics wizardry, Alan Wake 2 multimedia art, Spider-Man 2. But the winner, Baldur's Gate 3. This was an anomaly. A turn-based CRPG based on Dungeons & Dragons shouldn't have been a mainstream hit. But Larian Studios put so much love, so much choice, and so much quality motion capture into it that the AAA industry panicked. It raised the bar too high. In 2024, the industry was hurting with layoffs, but we also had Black Myth Wukong. China entered the AAA chat with stunning visuals. Helldivers 2, a glorious moment of democracy management before the balancing patches hit. But the winner is Astrobot. Sony needed a win and a little robot delivered. It wasn't trying to sell you a battle pass, it wasn't trying to be a movie, it was a celebration of PlayStation history. It smiled at you, and in 2024, we needed a smile. And finally, last year, 2025. We all thought Grand Theft Auto 6 would own the year, but delays happened, or if it released, it was a huge but. So the winner, Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This game shocked me. I'm usually the gameplay over graphics guy, but this had both. It took the turn-based formula that Persona and Final Fantasy perfected and added this reactive, real-time element that kept you on the edge of your seat. It proved that new IPs can still win in a world of sequels. So 15 years, we went from John Marston dying in a barn to venturing into the abstract worlds of Expedition 33. We saw the rise of indie games, the fall of loot boxes, mostly, and the dominance of the open world. Looking back at this list, the common thread isn't graphics, it isn't frame rates, it's identity. Red Dead knew it was a tragedy. Elden Ring knew it was a challenge. Astrobot knew it was a toy. The games that win the year are the ones that know exactly what they are and don't apologize for it. I know for a fact I made you mad with at least one of these picks. You're probably typing, How could you forget Cyberpunk after the update right now? Good. Tell me. Drop your list in the comments. I read them all, mostly to steal your opinions for my next marketing meeting. Hit the like button. It actually helps. I'm Cyler Ray. Keep playing. I'll see you in the next one.